Okay, the name Rizz SA, the way it came about, it came about in the studio. There's things that we in the studio use to, like as that brings friends together, like we would buy maybe wine or whatever. But Rizz SA, the name how it came about is the fact that I put people together.
Okay.
So wherever I am, there's always joy and laughter and teasing and things like that. I'm a man who likes peace and pushing progress. So basically the name Rizz SA out there, it would have a meaning in the streets in terms of the slang, because I come from a gangster background in terms of rap.
Okay.
So that's how the name came about. Rizz SA is a paper, you know Rizz SA Plus, the paper that they use to smoke marijuana in America.
Yes, and that's why I was asking, because
Yeah.
the connotations and the message that is associated with such a brand,
Yeah.
if you want to put it. I mean, as an artist, the impact of what you call yourself and what you do extends beyond that. So that's
Beyond
why I
that,
wanted to know
yes.
how it impacts society at large, especially based on the youth and the people you're influencing.
Okay, how it impacts society at large. Most people call themselves words like champagne, disolo, and things like that, and that's actually is a bad influence if to kids. Like that, the meaning of disolo is actually something that the government doesn't want to instill in communities, and communities do not want. The reason I chose Rizz SA and made it a connotation, because Rizz SA has an exclamation mark at the end. I just chopped it off to Rizz, and then La means for Ila, which means I rap iller than other rappers. Basically,
Okay, so
it's a hierarchy thing.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then with that said, then what is your message within the hip-hop scene? How do you add your mark and your impact in the existing and growing scene that's currently taking place in South Africa?
How I'm adding my mark in South Africa currently, I've been listening to trap music, all those club bangers, but the content is no longer the same. There's no messages for the youth, there's no messages for old people. Old people mostly, they can't listen to hip hop, they tend to move away to other genres, because all that's coming, it's trap. They're talking about clubbing, they're talking about things that are not building. So my songs basically, they speak the truth, even though the truth is always harsh. So in my songs, I just state it straight that, for instance, if I give a scenario about a man who just got married to a young girl and he's 40 years old, for instance, he mustn't get surprised at the outcomes or the consequences of that situation. He must always, like,
Is
I'm
that what
giving
your
an
look is about? Or
No, it's not what Juluka. I'm giving you a scenario of a
Okay.
picture I'm trying to create in the
what
industry.
is your current single, Jaluka, all about? I mean,
Okay.
what does it mean? Movement, if I'm correct?
Juluka means work hard.
Okay, work hard. So,
Sweat for your
to
money
sweat.
and enjoy your sweat. That's what it is, basically, in simple terms.
who did you collaborate with, or who was part of the production? I mean, what are you driving through that single?
Through that single, basically, I collaborated with two guys called Rebel Ants. Those guys, I worked with them since 2011, but we drifted apart after 2 years, and we got back together, and I just had their new stuff, because back then we were all not so good.
Okay.
That's what I'm just going to say. And then it was produced by a guy named The Maker, who also worked with Bass, Oskito San, and we basically trying to promote our background and our vision going forward. Because Juluka is about you must sweat, but along the way, on our verses, we give scenarios of what we're going to come across as we move along while we're trying to hustle our way up. So we're basically saying to people that they must never be surprised by such obstacles, because they do happen.
Yeah.
You just keep your focus. So, yeah.
How do you aim on maintaining that focus? We've seen in the hip-hop scene, you've got your infamous beefs between certain artists. You've got older artists, claiming that younger artists don't respect them as much in terms of helping pave the way, etc. So how do you aim to maintain your focus and contribute without stepping on anyone's toes?
Unfortunately, this is hip-hop. eventually someone will step on my toes, or I will step on someone's toes. It's just hip hop. It's the culture of what it is. But my vision is actually to work and collaborate with different people that have catchy skills, talents, like Questa, for instance. His influence is marvelous. And he could be making a song about, it could be about clubbing, but the message inside is what I'm keen for. Unlike most of the trap music we hear, it doesn't have meaning. It's just playing on the song type of thing.
And
Yeah.
I'm guessing that 90-10 rule that was just implemented now aims to empower emerging artists such as yourself. Based on that implementation, how has it helped you so far?
So far, I would say like it has made me reach masses because of the messages that I speak about, things that people go through, whether they're negative or positive, because it's what I'm going through. Chances are the next person is. And at the end, I would probably conclude most of my songs by giving them advice as to how they can deal with the situation, or I can just advise that they must just let life be.
So where do you draw that inspiration from? I mean, you're young, obviously standing as a bridge for people to allow whatever issues you see to mirror back to them and hopefully make an impact. So, I mean, where do you draw your life inspiration and work ethic from?
My life inspiration, I would say, comes from my background as a whole, because I was raised by a single parent. I grew up between Eastern Cape and Soweto. So I sort of learned most of South African languages. The only languages I can speak is only two languages, which is Venda and Tsonga. I don't know those languages, but the rest I can speak them. So
pretty impressive,
yeah,
I must say.
that's where the influence
Wow.
basically comes from. So it makes me a versatile artist in that manner that I can record any song in any language and in any kind of way. So even the hardships that I went through, the Kasi life, because at some point I got to be in rap battles in the hood where it gets rowdy. I've been there, like I've spoken to people going through stuff, and that's how I actually write about experiences. Because like when
So
you
you're
visit,
a storyteller
I'm a storyteller, yes.
with music in the background. Now,
Yeah.
Rizz, if people want to contact you, perhaps also download Jaluka, you stay in touch, interact with you. How do they contact you on those various social media platforms?
Okay, they can contact me on Facebook. The page name is TA Rizz 1043.
Okay.
1043 is basically my stable code in the hood. They will know it.
Okay.
It's Rizz 1043. And on Facebook, it's a sponsored page. Everything is there. Everything is updated. Every day we update. And my Twitter is at GFame1043, which was my old rap name, but we still yet to change it to Rizz. Instagram is Rizz 1043 again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rizz, thank you for joining us in studio. There's been so many greats who paved the way for, to help emerging artists such as yourself come and share the gift that you've been born with. So thank you for, honoring that calling and for wanting to contribute to that SA music scene. We wish you all the best, and keep flying that flag high for yourself. I think it's beyond yourself right now. Many people are watching. So
Yeah.
good luck and have fun.